Sounds good.
Welcome, Realm family, to another episode of Wrestling with the Realm podcast. I'm Brian, one half of the power and glory of wrestling podcast, and on the other side is the Hercules to my Paul Roma. He's my guy, Will. Will, what are we talking about?
Guys, we are here with our Backlash St. Louis review. But first, Brian, you got the sweatshirt on for a reason. Do you want
It's
to?
finally on top.
Yes, every once in a while, guys, Brian's got a little rant for us. So, Brian, take us through what you got today. And this one's well deserved, guys. I actually reached out to Brian on this
Yeah.
one because our guy Dave Meltzer was on some BS.
Yeah. So Will sent me this, and he said, you versus Dave Meltzer. Apparently, Dave Meltzer. This was out on social media. I don't know exactly what the date was from. We'll put it up on the screen. Um, it doesn't really matter because he's wrong, first of all. Um, so Will sends me a picture of a social media post of something that Dave Meltzer said on his podcast, I guess you said it was from. He's talking about Liv Morgan. He said, she's only gone for a week or so. She's shooting a quick cameo for a new Spider-Man movie. She doesn't have a massive role. Hollywood doesn't see that much value in her as a protagonist or an antagonist in any movie, and understandably so. She's an awful actress, let alone her wrestling skills. That's Dave Meltzer.
That was good.
I'm assuming that's exactly what he sounded like.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So Dave Meltzer taking shots at Liv Morgan, and here's why this bothers me. Listen, I don't just like Liv because Liv is a pretty face. That's not it. It's the fact that Liv Morgan, for the past year, has arguably been the MVP of that entire roster. She's making stories and feuds that she's not even involved in better. Her work in the ring, go back and watch Elimination Chamber. It changed Jim Cornette's mind. Like, you could go back and point to so many things on why she's been on a roll and she's been the MVP. So I always get a little bit touchy with the critical analysis that seems unwarranted. Will and I will do overrated, underrated, and we'll be critical of certain people, but we always will preface it, especially if it's current talent, we will always qualify it with if we see improvement or they get better, we want to be the first ones to say that. To say that, hey, we were wrong about that, or this person got better. Like, we don't do it just to try to be demeaning or just shoot strays at people. Even with Penta, yes, I like to have a little fun with Penta, but at the same time, I hope that Penta does get better because it's going to make everything else better. I
Yep.
just not going to keep doing it just because it's cheap heat. So Dave Meltzer, first of all, he's wrong with pretty much everything he said in here. She wasn't doing a Spider-Man movie. We know that now. That's why it doesn't really matter when this is from. She's shooting a movie in Tokyo, The Bad Lieutenant. So it's not a Spider-Man movie. It's not a cameo. Where does he get his information from? So he's wrong about that. So how is it? I guess here's the overall problem with Dave Meltzer. Anybody who's listened to us for a while knows that I'll reference certain people from the business who have podcasts. I'll talk about Bruce Pritchard. I'll talk about Jim Cornette. Even Stevie Richards gets in there. I try to listen to a lot of similar a lot of similar people who were around at a similar time because that way I can kind of form my own opinion on what the truth is, whatever they're talking about. Whether it's the Montreal screw job or who came up with Hell in a Cell, any of that kind of stuff. I like to hear everybody's take from the people who were there, as I do air quotes, and then kind of suss out what I think the truth is. So everybody seems to have an opinion of Dave Meltzer. From what I gathered from all of the people who I listen to with their podcasts, Dave Meltzer always seems to have a bit of a negative aura that follows him. And I go, these are kind of the reasons why. Just because Dave Meltzer was the first person or one of the first people to get a dirt sheet out back in the day about wrestling because he was a fan and then would make up news and put it out there. I don't understand why he gets this reverence that he's to be trusted for everything when he works at the same clip that you and I do, Will. 50-50.
Yep.
Half the time we're right, half the time we're wrong. And that's exactly what Meltzer does. So it's just always amazing to me that he gets to be a voice of the community and for wrestling, but he's hardly ever right. And if he is right, he won't let you not know that. But it's like, dude, you're throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. So it just bugs me a little bit when the people that are supposed to be the gatekeepers or the authority of the wrestling community have weird takes like that. He was coming at Liv Morgan and it just seemed a little bit senseless, especially to take a shot at her in ring work, which I'm like, now you lost everybody because even the people that were concerned about that, like a Jim Cornette, even Cornette has come around and said that, yeah, he gets it. He sees it. So I don't know. Meltzer, forget you, man. Taking
Yeah,
shots at Liv Morgan like
we
that.
we gotta stop giving cornballs like Dave Meltzer platforms because just because he was the first guy to have a star rating system for matches,
Mm-hmm.
people act like it is the end all be all. Who cares what this dude thinks? Seriously, the problem is like everyone online, we are sitting here talking about him. So he's doing his job. I will give him that. He is
Yep.
getting so credit to him.
100%. He got heat. We always say heat is heat, and it's true. And I know that there's a little bit of irony because it's like, oh, well, we're doing a podcast and putting it out. And I go, yeah, but our goal for this podcast, Dave Meltzer and the like that have these dirt sheets and have been doing it for so long, like Meltzer desperately wants to be part of the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be at that table of cool kids that is like the inner circle. Like he really wants that very badly. We don't. Will and I don't want to be sitting at any table. Will and I like being fans. We like being fans who watch it and then come talk about it. We never try to come on here and try to be the, end all be all and the oracle of wrestling and everything that we say is the best take ever. We know it's not. We just try to be two guys talking about wrestling and hopefully you guys feel like you're part of the conversation. That's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. We are literally the Otis and Tozawa
Yes.
of opinions of booking. So do not do not listen to us if you are looking for the end all be all of what is going to happen in professional wrestling.
Yep. It's just our opinion. And that's the difference is we just like to give our opinion and our takes on things. Guys like Meltzer like to give you, here's the news. This is the news that I'm a source who's giving you this news. You're not a source. You're just a
No.
mark.
Well, speaking of opinions, Brian,
Yeah,
let's
now let's get into our opinions and say why everything WWE does is wrong and get into Lyra Valkyria and Penta.
yeah,
We're
this
not
is
going to do that this time, folks. I'm just tricking you.
no, no, this is
I know.
wrestling with the realm
Mm-hmm.
Peter card kind of. These are some people we've shown our fair criticism
Yep.
to on Backlash. So I'm interested to hear your opinions on this. I think we share kind of the same opinion from what
Yeah.
we were talking about today, but let's start off with the match that opened the show, the United States Championship Fatal Four Way. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. Brian, I don't know about you, but this one was a banger.
Yep. It was.
you had a South of Heaven from Damian Priest that was it. I mean, it broke the internet. There was so many reposts of this. Shout out to Drew McIntyre for taking
Yep.
that tough bump. They're saying a head injury of some sort.
It
So
seemed like it.
yeah, he went off holding his head. So shout out to him. You had LA Knight. He had a stellar performance, I thought. I thought this was one of LA Knight's better matches. I think LA Knight gives the best elbow drop
Yes.
since maybe shoot. Macho Man is so
Yeah.
tough because no one's ever topping him. But man,
He
that
looks
is
good doing it, man.
woo. Yeah, I know there's like the Slim Jim comparisons and all of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, he's got it. I know that's a comparison. It's like Rock, Austin, Macho Man, blend them together. That's LA Knight.
Yeah.
And I thought he balled out this match. And of course, Saturday night was a star-making event for certain people.
Yep.
Jacob Fatu is one of them. They set up this match for him to look like a star, and he came out on the other end looking like a star, outperforming Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight. Some of the stuff this dude does in the ring for being that big is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The moonsaults where he catches himself and he lands on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
How he gets the elevation on the Samoan drop, best Samoan drop ever. Even compared to some of like I think Jey Uso's got a good Samoan drop. Umaga, Rikishi, all of these guys,
Yeah. Rock.
yeah, no one launches him up like Jacob Fatu does. I'm gonna come at you with a bit of a hot take here. In terms of the Samoan dynasty, I don't
Mhm.
think there's a better pure in-ring worker than Jacob Fatu.
Oof.
And there is some dogs in that
Ooh.
group. And Rocky is amazing with the in-ring storytelling. I think that's where Fatu needs to pick it up a little bit. I think we'll see that as he continues this US championship reign. There's some stuff coming,
Yep.
potential storylines to tap into where we can eventually get into a little bit more of that for him. But I'm gonna give it to Jacob Fatu. Star performance for this guy Saturday night at Backlash.
100%. You're not wrong. I thought it was a great match to open with. They still go in there. I always say it that I'm always watching the story if they can tell it in the ring. You have all four guys again telling a story in the ring. You have Damian Priest, who we were joking about winning the Andre the Giant Memorial
Yeah.
Battle Royal. And dude, Damian Priest is like earning his own push. I don't know what other way to describe it. That every time you think Damian Priest is just going to slide back down the card, the build up to the match at WrestleMania with Drew McIntyre was lackluster. But once you get in the ring and he starts working, you can't not take him away. You can't not give him something to do. Like it's kind of amazing to watch because it was great to see Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre once they got outside the ring and they really started doing some big spots. They both looked great. Again, you're right with Drew McIntyre. It looks like he did hit the old coconut. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's okay and he's not going to miss any time because Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, they they can go make some money
Oh
because
yeah.
those
Sure.
two are work really well together. And it almost makes me wonder if Drew McIntyre, like, was he kind of bummed out that this was going to be his WrestleMania with Damian Priest? But I would love to know now, after being a few matches in and them working together, if he's kind of seeing what you can do. Like, Damian Priest has been really good in the ring, and I feel like we don't say that enough about him sometimes. We try to. Um,
We do.
he and Drew McIntyre were great. LA Knight looked really good. This was another match where, regardless of who came out on top, nobody came out of it looking weaker. Everybody at the end of this match still looks pretty strong, and you can still book them as a strong presence, and that's not always easy to do, especially with the personalities that you have in that ring. Jacob Fatu, he is amazing. He's over, and he's earning it all on his own. They're not giving him words to say that he's going out there and he's just killing a promo. That dude is earning everything with his work in the ring, and it's kind of cool to see that just when you look at the body of work when the bell rings, that he's getting over just based off of that. Then you have all the extra stuff with the bloodline and the Samoan werewolf, which is a great gimmick. It doesn't hurt to be a Samoan werewolf. Um, and as you were saying that you were kind of touching on his mic skills or the other parts of his character, and I think we are starting to see a little bit of that once Jeff Cobb arrives and
Yes.
jumps over the barrier and gets involved in this match. Jacob Fatu did a really good job, and it's been building up to this of what's his breaking point with Solo Sikoa and everything else that's going on in this new bloodline. And he played it really, really well at the end of this match when Jeff Cobb is there. Like, he's like, I don't know who this dude is. Where did he come from? Why didn't I know about it? And can I trust you guys? And that's super interesting. And he did that without saying a word. He did it all with just the looks that he was giving. So
Hmm.
kudos to Jacob Fatu. When it comes to Jeff Cobb, Will, you're going to fill us in on this a little bit. I will say this. I know two Jeff Cobbs in my life. One is a real person. Jeff, if you're listening to this, what's up? Real person, Jeff Cobb. The other Jeff Cobb I know is a character played by William Catt, greatest American hero, in the movie House from the 80s. Those are the two Jeff Cobbs I know. Neither one of those Jeff Cobbs are this Jeff Cobb. Who is this guy, Will?
Let me tell you about the second greatest Jeff Cobb of all time because I am not slandering your boy's name in case
Hey,
he's listening to this. Let me tell you about Solo Sikoa's Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is a beast, a literal beast. Why do I say that? Let me tell you about some of the people he's beaten. First of all, biggest win of dude's career, he beat Walter. For those who don't know who Walter is, that is Gunther. A company, a indie promotion, thought it was a good idea to take their world championship off of Gunther and put it on Jeff Cobb. That's the type of beast we are dealing with. If you have not watched that match, please go watch it. This version of Gunther is a little bigger, a little heavier set, and they just throw bombs at each other all match. Certified classic. He beat Damian Priest for the ROH TV title. He also beat Penta and Ray Phoenix one on one, and he beat them in a tag team match with former WWE talent Matt Riddle to win the New Japan
mm,
Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships. So we are dealing with an absolute beast. He is so stellar in the ring. He is a former Division One wrestler.
that
So
makes sense.
he reminds me a bit of, he has a lot of power slams in his bag, super strong dude. I don't know if like Big E is a right comparison for him. He has the power slam like Randy Orton, very quick on his feet. He's got some high flying stuff that will surprise some people. Jeff Cobb is kind of just not one of one. Jeff Cobb is one of one. So what a pickup for WWE this is. I heard he signed. I heard it was going to be quick, his debut. This is a dude that's pushing 40, so I knew he wasn't going to
Hmm.
NXT. So super excited for Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb versus Gunther, run it back. Jeff Cobb versus Braun Breaker. And Jeff Cobb versus Jacob Fatu is where I believe we are going. Shout out to Solo Sikoa, though. This dude will find a way, similar to Damian Priest,
Yeah.
to stay
Yep.
relevant. He finds a way. You think Solo Sikoa just puts over the other members of the bloodline. I'm not saying that's not what he's going to do here. I think this is the same formula with Jacob Fatu for Jeff Cobb. But shout out Solo Sikoa because he does a great job of doing it, and it keeps him
Hmm.
in in the mid card, in the main event. And by the way, he last year he was able to piggyback this into a SummerSlam main event
Yeah,
versus
that's
Cody
true.
Rhodes. I don't think that's what's coming for him. I don't think there's any title shots coming for him unless it's against Jacob Fatu. But man, shout out to Solo Sikoa for staying relevant
Yeah.
when most people think he should be irrelevant. So very excited for the future of Jeff Cobb, Solo Sikoa, and this Jacob Fatu storyline.
Yeah. I'm excited for it because I can see where it's going,
Hmm.
and this dude looks awesome. I like that the announce team was doing their job too, letting everybody know that that's Jeff Cobb. He's the biggest free agent out there right now. So they're trying to get, you know what I mean? They're doing their job. That was a good, I have thoughts on the commentary. I'll just say I like it best when Wade Barrett's there. I'm really
Big
becoming
White
a
Bear
Wade Barrett
guys on the
fan.
pod.
So,
Well, speaking of commentary, Brian, there was a obvious man missing off the commentary team, and that's because he had a big one-on-one match, Pat McAfee versus Gunther. I will give you my quick thoughts on this match. I think it was entertaining. I thought it served its purpose. It was surprisingly hard hitting. And anyone that can stand in the ring with Gunther and take
hmm.
those hits, I know this is a backlash review, but I did just get done watching Monday Night Raw. Pat got a standing ovation on Raw, and he showed everyone on TV that he popped a blood vessel in his right eye, taking a chop from Gunther. So put that into perspective for what it is. Shout out to Pat McAfee. He gained my respect this match. He had a pretty funny botch where he tripped over the top rope because he just
Yes.
had so much energy inside of him.
Yes.
And I thought that was just, it shows you have to be in that ring all the time or
Yeah.
you're going to lose the consistency and forget the basic stuff. So, but man, shout out to Pat. I think he earned everyone's respect. I thought what made this storyline so compelling was the fact that they added Michael Cole into the actual match a little bit. That passion from Wade Barrett, even though he wasn't as biased as Michael Cole, I thought this was a strong performance on commentary from Wade Barrett because at one point he had to carry the match
Yes.
by himself. I thought he was really strong in that part of the match, and adding Michael Cole made it feel even more personal. I know we kind of figured out what the path is for Gunther, but at the end of this match, the only sour taste in my mouth was it felt kind of filler, like exhibition match
Hmm.
for this, for Gunther especially, but overall, pretty fun match. I would give it a double thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it. What were your thoughts, Brian?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I was surprised at how much I liked it. I thought for
Mhm.
sure it was going to bother me, but I was kind of surprised that I was entertained the whole time through it. Uh, I thought Pat actually was able to hold his own in the ring and do a decent job. I mean, you're in there with Gunther, so it's almost like just go be a rag doll and let him move you around.
Mhm.
But Pat had to do some work. Pat took some bumps, took a great suplex. Um, so Pat was doing some work. He impressed me. Uh, I've a big takeaway that I had was that I thought was super interesting is that Michael Cole gets involved and cheats for Pat.
Yeah, I was dying about that.
Like it was the I'm just like, oh, this is so stupid. But this is why I love wrestling,
Hmm.
is that Cole is gonna go cheat for Pat, who's our face character, and we're all supposed to be happy about it. I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? You're cheating. You're ruining your own argument with this, man. Don't go help and cheat. So it was classic old school kind of silliness that we can do sometimes, especially in the WWE and back when it was the WWF. So that might be why I got so much enjoyment and entertainment out of this match
Yeah,
because it felt like kind of a throwback of things that we don't do so much anymore. And sometimes it's fun to do these wackier things. And there was a little bit of development, I thought, that Gunther has a little bit of a show of respect after the match to Pat
hmm,
and puts his hand out. Pat doesn't reciprocate, but Gunther kind of tips his cap at him like, "Hey, you earned a little respect in this match." So I go, there's been so many times with Gunther, you and I have talked about it over the last several months. There's a lot of times where I'm like, why is he working like a face character in the ring? There was a couple of times. There was one a few months ago where I forget who was on the outside of the ring, if it was Judgment Day characters or who it was. And he just gives them the big boot and drops them too. Like, I don't need anybody's help. I'll do my own thing. And you and
yeah,
I got to work and we're like, why was he working as a face? It was really weird. Um, just a lot to Gunther. I feel like there's more to his character than just him being this big monster in there. So I'm curious to see where we go with Gunther because there's more than him just being this Ring of General monster in there. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more depth with that character.
yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Gunther, especially for with no Goldberg appearance, which I'm pretty sure we all kind of thought was going to
Yeah.
happen.
Well, I still think it is gonna happen. It just didn't happen here. I feel like
Yeah.
we're leading up to something with Goldberg. That makes sense.
You have time till
Yeah.
SummerSlam, so plenty of time to build.
Yes, exactly.
Brian, let's go over probably the only match I personally think was just kind of thrown together a little too late. They ran it on Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, and it just felt a little underwhelming, but the in-ring work was really good. I'm talking about the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio
Mhm.
and Penta, your guy. I thought for as much as people love Penta in the ring, Dominic Mysterio kind of stole the show here.
100%.
We start off the match with a suicide dive out the ring into a tornado DDT from Dominic Mysterio. He hits an Oblivion in the match,
Awesome.
sells a Canadian destroyer from Penta
Yep.
on the ringside. Come on now, people. Come on now, people. We got to give this man his props. I think from when we've started this podcast until now, there is not a more improved wrestler than
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio. Kudos to him. Penta was okay. We have a interference in this match from the greatest luchador of all time, El
Hmm.
Grande Americano, gives Penta the headbutt, and maybe we get something out of this. Maybe a Monday Night Raw feud. but just kind of felt like everything that transpired in this match could have took place on Raw. Felt like this match was supposed to be Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. Maybe Logan Paul was busy. They spent more time building towards that. Obviously, we have that match now at Saturday night's main event.
Hmm.
For this match being thrown together, I give these guys a thumbs up.
I'm with you 100%, Will. I was super excited about this one because we talked about it after Dom won. We said, okay, let's see where we go now. Because now Dom is a champion in the Judgment Day, that this is going to be fun. And no offense against the NXT North American Championship, but there's a difference between that and Dom being the IC
Yes, there is.
champion. So I go, this will be fun to see where we go now. And I'm so glad they did throw this together because I love this match. I was watching with the magnifying glass because it was Penta. Penta looked okay. I felt like he was perfectly fine. I thought Dom was doing a lot of the work, and Dom was making Penta look better than maybe Penta normally would look. And I know that that's crazy because it's Dom, but Will kind of laid it out to you guys already. As soon as he did that suicide dive into that DDT, I was like, dang, my note that I wrote down was Dom is working. Like Dom was working that night. There was one thing that Penta did, and it bugged me. Uh, there was a spot in the match where he's favoring his leg and limping around and really favoring his leg, and then immediately goes up to the top turnbuckle for a high risk move, jumps to the outside and takes out Dom and never touches his leg again. And I was like, those things I know that I nitpick, but I always notice that stuff because if you sell it too much and then nothing comes of it, it looks a little bit hokey. Either you do what Bret Hart would do and intentionally look like you're hurt so you can play possum. That works if you do it that way, but you got to keep an eye on that. But it's just me nitpicking this match. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought Dom was awesome. I love that Dom used Oblivion. That's more of that telling a story in the ring, live again, being part of a story, and she's not even here. She's not even on the show, but yet she's still getting involved in this storyline through Dom, him using Oblivion. I thought that was cool. I thought that made a lot of sense. Uh, Good match. I was happy. I was happy that Dom won. I love that El Grande Americano got involved because I feel like we could get into some fun stuff with Penta and El Grande Americano and the rest of the luchadors. Like everybody knows that we've been talking about that we both love this. Like I think it's so much fun. So kudos to everybody in this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. For being a last minute match, I thought it worked and I thought it was super entertaining.
Yeah, really quickly, also want to touch on Penta's single run. You know, Penta has been eating a lot of losses recently,
Mhm.
which I find interesting. Are we slowly building towards a Lucha Bros return? It's been rumored pretty heavily. Now, Dave Meltzer's one of those people rumoring it, but Penta has been against the Judgment Day. The numbers aren't in his favor. Now he's got El Grande Americano on him. Ray Phoenix has history with El Grande
Mhm.
Americano. So maybe all along the plan was to get both of these guys a solid singles run. And now it's time to put them back together, put some life into the Raw tag team division. Please give someone the New Day for the New Day to feud.
Yeah, there you go.
Someone, something. There just needs a little bit of boost. Why not add one of the most electrifying tag teams in the world? Because when these guys are together, they are truly better together. Ray Phoenix does the heavy lifting in the
Yep.
ring, Penta hits his big spots, and everyone is happy.
Yep.
Seriously, they're just so much better together. I hope that's what we're leaning towards. So hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree.
And to what might be my match of the night. I
Ooh.
can't believe I'm saying it. Our girl. I'm throwing one up for her.
Woo!
Gotta put it to the side, I think.
Woo!
I don't know how she does it. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. I want to say over delivered, but the feud building up to this was so good that I think the match had to deliver, and that it did. I want to give a shout out to Lyra Valkyria, someone we have been
Mm-hmm.
uber critical of.
Yep.
The last few months has picked it up. It looks like she has hit her stride on the main roster. She looks like she deserves the title she is holding. And this was the perfect opponent for her. Becky has a history of getting the best out of people. It's so funny. She actually was just cutting a promo tonight saying she gave Lyra the best match of her career. She's not lying. That she has a history of getting the best out of the people she's fighting. That is not a lie either. I did a little homework for y'all. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton. She beat Tiffy twice, but that feud is highly remembered as Tiffany Stratton's best feud.
Mm.
That feud got the best out of Tiffany Stratton. It made Tiffy a star. She was ready to move up to the main roster. They saw that and they did it right away. Who did WWE give to Becky Lynch as she was coming back? Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm.
What did she do? She put Nia Jax over. They had one match, and it was at Raw Day 1, 2024, and it was a banger of a match. And this was when Nia was still considered as the person that hurts people.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her Becky Lynch. All of a sudden, where's Nia Jax? She was a world champion, and now she's feuding Tiffany Stratton
Yep.
again for the world championship. Becky Lynch also got the best out of Trish Stratus. They both got a win over each other. They had a steel cage match that's remembered as a very good match between Trish, who's a little older, if we're being honest, and Becky, who's considered to not be in the prime of her career anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Also put Lyra over at Halloween Havoc when they fought for the NXT title and no one thought that Lyra was going to win, and they took a chance on her, and Becky still put her over in what was a good match. This match that they had here tonight was 10 times better than that match.
Mm-hmm.
It felt real. Becky blended the physicality well for Lyra, and then Lyra took her technical aspect of her in-ring work, and it was just the perfect blend. So I want to give both of them kudos. Obviously, the way you feel about Liv Morgan, I feel that way about Becky Lynch. When people call her Becky Hogan, I give you guys four examples of how Becky Lynch is not Becky Hogan. We got to stop with the disrespect. And obviously, giving Lyra the clean win with a post match attack. This feud, obviously not over. I'm excited for it to continue. Brian, your thoughts?
Well, I said it earlier that, in the words of the great Jerry Orbach, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And Lyra Valkyria has gotten a lot better. This match I thought was a great match. They worked really well together. And this is why sometimes I'm so critical when I'm talking about Lyra Valkyria or Penta or Jade Cargill and we've touched on it before with Jade Cargill, that when we talk about potential or what we think somebody has, we want to see them reach that. So we're kind of hopefully critiquing because we'd like to see them clean up the things that we notice. Um, Lyra's been doing that. This was her best match that she's had. And I feel like part of it is they're kind of giving a little bit more to that character of hers because she's gone from the oh shucks, I can't believe I really won the match. Did did you really just count to three and I'm advancing in this tournament? To her having some self-confidence, especially with Becky Lynch, like with the promos and stuff. I feel like they're trying to give her a little bit more edge and she feels more comfortable doing that version of the character. So she's gotten better in all facets, but it all starts in the ring. And a lot of the stuff that I used to ding her for, I wasn't seeing. She didn't get blown up in this match. She wasn't, she was fine by the end of the match because there's been times that we've talked about where you'll get to the end of the match and she's going to hit her finisher and you go, man, she's barely getting this person up. And you could tell that she's a little bit winded. Haven't been noticing that. She looked really good in the ring. They both, I feel like their styles together really help because they can accentuate the other one and they make each other look better. So I'm glad that this feud will keep going. Uh, the Becky Lynch heel thing is kind of I'm not a fan of her promos with this heel turn. Um, I'm hoping she can find kind of a sweet spot of where she wants to be with these heel promos because right now she's kind of all over the map with her villainy, with what she's saying, that I don't always believe it. So hopefully she can get into a groove with that. Less is more, I guess, is what
Yeah.
I would say from her with these heel promos. But in the ring, this was a great match. I thought it definitely was a coming out party for Lyra Valkyria. I think she's arrived, and you're probably not going to hear us bag on her too much because I feel like she's gotten over the hump. So good on you, Lyra. We're here for you.
Just gotta cut the wings. Gotta cut the wings. If we're going with the serious character now,
They're the next thing to go.
yeah, I think they are.
Yeah,
Because she's even gotten over entrance. We did the woo, but the
we
woo
did the
was
woo.
over.
I know. I'm not
The
gonna
woo.
lie. I was wooing during the
Oh,
song.
shoot, shoot. We're gonna start wooing on the
By the
podcast.
time the match was over and the song is playing, I'm wooing. Yeah,
And we're not wooing for no flair. We're wooing for Lyra
right.
Valkyria. That's crazy.
Yep. And
Um,
I said a couple of podcasts ago when you were talking about this match who I was going to be rooting for, and I believe I said, and I quote, not Bird Lady. I was wrong.
yep, yep. It's crazy
Yeah.
how wrestlers can change their work in such a short
Yep.
period of time. So shout out to Lyra.
Yeah.
Brian, let's move on to what was the, as John Cena said, end of our childhood. The last time I grew up on this feud. So this was a tough one for me. By the end of this match, I was just kind of like, damn, no Ron Simmons, but
Damn.
it was tough for me watching these two go out there. John Cena, the champion, versus Randy Orton, the challenger in his hometown. And I'm talking about from the entrances. This match had that big fight
Mhm.
feel. And in recent memory, I'm not trying to dog on my guy, Cody Rhodes. We haven't really had this since maybe a Roman Reigns title match because that Aura Roman carries, it feels like the main event of a huge
Mhm.
Floyd Mayweather fight. And that's kind of what this had. Two heavyweights, one last time, and it delivered on everything it needed to deliver on. What shocked me was this match had almost three stages. You have the beginning, it's classic Orton Cena. They got each other in the corner, headlocks. They're on the ground. They got each other in sleepers and they're trading off. And all they're doing right there is calling the match in the ring.
Hmm.
If you look at these two, they are constantly communicating in the ring. It is something that John does where he just does not plan his matches. He just goes out there and he has them. And I think that's special. I think that's something only certain wrestlers can do, and it looks that good, and the product is that good. Then you have the overbooked craziness of the match, where they're just hitting finishers on each other, and it eventually spills out into the by the announce table, and you have Orton hit an AA and the table breaks like 7 seconds after. So he goes and he sets up another one and he hits him with another AA. I think you had five AAs in this match in total, three from Caesar, two from Orton, and you had about 15 RKOs. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
the third part of this match is the ref shenanigans and the interference shenanigans and you had Nick Aldis catching RKO. You had Jamie Noble from J&J Security catching RKO. You had Alpha. What were they? They were not Alpha Academy. Oh, come on. My wrestling bag it's falling deep. But my guy Jason Jordan, who used to team with Chad Gable back in the day, caught an RKO too. It felt good. It felt good to see, just those three stages break down. It felt like John Cena versus Randy Orton, and you're watching the greatest hits of it, the best parts of their whole entire feud. This match was amazing to me. Brian, you give us your thoughts on this match because I loved it.
I mean, I'm not again because the dead period of my fandom is when these guys were going hardest,
Yeah.
and even for me, not knowing their oeuvre of matches, I could tell based off of how the match was worked that they were doing a love letter to the fans of
Hmm.
here's our greatest hits because this is the last time you're going to see us. And I could tell that just by watching it that's what they were doing, and that wasn't a bad thing. Um, I had told Will, I said this match was better than the Cody Rhodes John Cena match at WrestleMania by a
100%
wide
agree.
margin, and it really makes that WrestleMania sting even more because of that. Hopefully, it'll stop feeling that way the further we get away from it. But this just being a few weeks after, and you go, this main event was so much better than what you guys gave us there. And it's not Cody's fault. And it's not Cena's fault. It's The Rock's fault to everybody. Um, so this, you were able to just have these guys go out there and work. They told a good story. They gave everybody the greatest hits that they wanted to see. And it felt just like some of that old school with the ref bumps that I
Mhm.
love. Anybody who listens to our retro rewatches, I love ref bumps because anything goes once you have the ref bump.
Yep.
I also thought it was interesting that my first thought when Nick Aldis got in there is I go, come on, we got to be setting up Randy Orton and Nick Aldis at some point, right?
Some point. Yeah.
They have to. Like, there's no way that we're not going to get that match now. So maybe that'll be a SummerSlam match. Maybe we're going to build to that with these two having a big blow off because they've been planting these seeds. And, he had his go round with John Cena. So now we can have the next person come up and have their last go round with John Cena, CM Punk. Uh, so I feel like they're building towards that Nick
They are.
Aldis match still, and that's going to be another one that is going to happen. We're going to go, that was better than anything they did at WrestleMania, and I'm all for that. So hopefully that happens. Um, I thought it was a good match. I thought, of course, John Cena is going to retain. I don't know if anybody actually thought that Randy Orton was actually going to win this match, but it felt again that we have two versions of the John Cena heel character. We have the version who sold his soul to The Rock, which seems incongruous to anything we've been doing.
So,
And then
yeah,
you have the other heel version of John Cena who really wanted to win his 17th championship and was going to stop being the good guy in order to do that. That's such a better story. I wish I talked about this on our WrestleMania 41 review. I just wish that they would have kept it simple and never had any of that other nonsense involved in it. It would have been such a more interesting story to see ultimate good guy John Cena compromise his values against Cody Rhodes to win, and then to see him do that again to retain it. Like, that's such a better story that he uses the belt again to take out Randy Orton and get the win and does a low blow. Like, it would be such a better story with him for him being a heel, is if we see him keep doing these super heelish things that he never would have done before now because he wants to keep his championship. And they're kind of doing that. Let's just hope The Rock doesn't get involved again going forward so we can try to finish telling this story and make it make a little bit more sense. And I think that this match with Randy Orton was a good step in that direction to get us on a more linear story with John Cena instead of taking these little detours with the final boss. I think this was a good way to try to get that train back on the tracks because it was a good match. You add the element of R-Truth gets involved in this match, which had been building up. I think you might have said this a few weeks ago. You were like, R-Truth has to get involved at some point with John Cena to help
yeah,
him because he's R-Truth, who is one of my favorites now after the
yes,
roast. Uh, actually, going back to WrestleMania 40, I thought R-Truth was great at WrestleMania 40 with The Miz. Um, so he won me over then. I'm sure he's won all of you guys over a
oh yeah,
long, long time ago. I was late to that party, kind of, because R-Truth was wrestling back in the Attitude Era, but that's neither here nor there. Um, R-Truth shows up and he gets involved, of course, because he has to help his childhood hero. He's been looking up to John Cena since he was a little kid, which again, that's never not going to be funny.
no, it's
So
not
good.
timeless.
So we add another element with R-Truth. I thought that this match was really good. Better than anything they did at Mania.
Yeah, and I just want to, we harp on The Rock for him not being here. I want to give one, I said something earlier about how Cody couldn't get that big fight feel. That is not Cody's fault, everyone. That is The Rock's fault for the night after WrestleMania 40, putting something in his hand
Hmm.
and making every single amazing feud Cody had, because he had, I mean, just two off the top of my head. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens were
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
phenomenal feuds that the belt could have gotten flipped. If Kevin Owens won at the Royal Rumble, nobody would have been shocked. If The Rock didn't put something in his hand and make all those feuds feel meaningless until he came back.
Exactly. Yep.
So not dogging my guy Cody at all for that. But let's move back to R-Truth because I think it's very interesting. John Cena, after the match, he gets out the ring and the fans are chanting, "Thank you, Cena."
Yep.
They were chanting that he could wrestle during the match and that they were sorry. All these things add up. John gets out of the ring. He's a tad bit emotional. And I'm
Hmm.
like, what? Heel John Cena is crying because of the fans. Maybe he was actually genuinely upset that's the last time he's supposed to wrestle Randy, or it was advertised for, and that's maybe the greatest feud in wrestling history. The only thing that can maybe hold a candle to it is like a Rock Austin or Austin McMahon. But
Hogan earthquake.
Hogan,
That's
our guy Quaking, a shout out on the Backlash review.
right.
Yeah, I mean, that great of a feud. He's just overcame with this emotion. We get to the back, he gets to the press conference, and he says to the reporters, I need to be better with you guys. I need to be better with you guys. This is my last run. I can't just come in here and blow you guys off. And then here comes R-Truth. And he's like, man, I love you, John. I'm so happy I was able to help out, blah, blah, blah. I can't stand it when they say you can't wrestle and that you suck. And he gets up and he says, Ron, one
I
more
love
word,
that.
and there will be repercussions for your actions. And I don't know if the emotion earlier in the night was just a setup and good acting from John Cena for this moment. But if it was, kudos to John Cena. If not, it plays perfectly into the storyline that John Cena is trying to come back around to the fans, and then R-Truth is the perfect reminder why he can't. And he gives R-Truth an attitude adjustment through the table, which I believe in 2025 is setting up for R-Truth versus John Cena at Saturday night's main event, which is insane that we are getting that. If there was one match I just didn't think they would even touch on, I thought there would be one segment, maybe two, between R-Truth and John Cena. But the fact that we're taking the time, and I know it's only going to be 2 weeks, to touch on this hilarious storyline that
Mhm.
R-Truth has built up over the last 5 years Cena has been gone. I mean, we're talking about a dude that references John Cena in promos when John's not even like in the picture. It is, first of all, it's a testament to R-Truth's hard work and persistence, staying in the company and doing whatever he is asked to do. If it's hold the 24/7 championship a million times, that we are in 2025 on John Cena's retirement tour, the GOAT's retirement tour, and they are going to take time to potentially tap into a feud with him, R-Truth. So kudos to R-Truth. I'm so excited for this feud if we get it. It would be the only time I think that, because even with Randy in St. Louis, they really, there was people still cheering for Cena.
Oh yeah.
I can't see a world where anyone is not cheering for R-Truth because it's so out of this world that almost everybody would just they're cheering for the ultimate underdog versus the GOAT. So super excited for the future of R-Truth and John Cena.
It's so funny because we did a review of the first Saturday night's main event that came back last year.
Hmm.
Because I was super excited for it because it's so nostalgic for me. And I think we've had enough of them now where we can say, looking forward, if we get John Cena and R-Truth at Saturday night's main event, that's the kind of match you do at Saturday night's main event.
Yes,
Like
sir.
this one you were talking about Kevin Owens and Cody, and I think back to that premiere episode. I think that was the one where Kevin Owens steals the Winged Eagle
Hmm.
championship belt. And I go, looking back at that now, that is pure 80s wrestling shenanigans.
Hmm.
And I love that we can do this kind of stuff on Saturday night's main event. And it's the perfect place for anything a little bit more campy. So John Cena and R-Truth, perfect place for that match to take place and to build up a little bit of story for it. So I hope that it happens because it just feels right for that show. Like that just makes sense. The only thing that would ruin it is if The Rock came out at the end and did that would That would not be awesome because that's the kind of thing that he would do. Oh, you guys are excited. Oh, well, the final boss might have to be there. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that he would do.
Well, and God forbid if ticket sales were down.
Yeah, we don't want that because Ari's going to give him a personal phone call and say, Dwayne, baby, come on, ticket sales are down. I need to get you in there. Like, come on.
What a bunch of clowns. Sorry.
You
Sorry.
know, and people do like The Rock and people get excited, but my goodness, is that some hubris to say that nobody wants to buy tickets until they hear that you're there. Like that is some wildly self-referential stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, and in the same breath say that he wants to give all the attention to Cody and John,
Yes.
but you
Yeah.
couldn't give it to them at Elimination Chamber.
T
We're on
Ticket
to you,
sales were
pal.
down.
We're we're on to you, pal.
Yeah.
We are. We're tired of you.
Yeah. Us and everybody else.
Yeah, we're not the only ones.
No. No,
It's
no.
good not to be alone
Yep.
on this. Brian, do you have anything else? Maybe your final grade? Do you have a letter grade for Backlash you could give it?
Boy, if I'm giving out letter grades for this thing, I'm gonna give Backlash a solid B. Like
Mm.
it's not the greatest show that I've seen them do, but maybe it's on a little bit of a curve because Mania was as weak as I thought it was. So this one really stood out. I thought this was overall a really good show. I thought that we progressed some storylines. We didn't mess with stuff too much. Uh, and it was very entertaining. It was one of the more entertaining shows we have had in a while. So B, solid B.
I think I'm higher because I always am. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm just a sucker for WWE and anything that they give me, I'm just like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. But I would go A minus, probably just for the sheer fact that WrestleMania was lower for me.
Hmm.
Same curved grading scale that you have. And I loved the main event so
Yeah.
much. It was just if that's the last one, I was grateful that I got to watch it. And it's the end. It really is the end of my childhood. The end of this CM Punk feud. I don't know, like what's coming after that that is part of my childhood. Unless Batista comes out or
No.
maybe JBL. I don't know. That
Ooh,
was even a little.
JBL, that's not bad. I'm surprised that JBL hasn't been out to at least say something.
Yeah, I think he's under contract with like TNA or something,
I
but
think, yeah, but we have a deal with
oh yeah,
TNA now.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it an A minus. I really enjoyed the Becky and Lyra match, which is crazy coming from me.
Yeah,
And
I'm with you
you,
though.
I enjoyed the Fatal Four Way, and Dom was in his bag. So, and Pat impressed me. He
Yeah.
did. I've had experience watching him with his match versus Adam Cole in NXT. He was obviously much better in that match because he was a tad bit younger. But for him to get out there and, at least hold something against Gunther. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I was impressed by Pat. Um, I thought that Lyra and Becky match was great. And
yeah.
that's coming from the same person who just did a podcast over on the Realm Paranormal podcast. If you guys haven't gone over there, go check that out. We just recorded a Wrestling with the Realm crossover where we were introducing the paranormal side of the podcast family to what we do over here. So hopefully we get some of those paranormal podcast fans over here. But I just was saying on that episode, I was asked about Becky Lynch and if I thought she was a little overrated. And I said, yes, I think she is a little bit overrated. And then that match happened the very next day. And I go, man, now I have to try to retract that when we do our review of Backlash
That's why
because
we
she
do.
was really good. My
Yeah.
only quibbles that I have, I already kind of talked about it. I hope that she gets into a little bit better groove with this heel promo because she is so kind of erratic and all over the place. Like I said, just less is more.
Yeah, and we might need to take it away from Lyra too. We might need to rehash it in our next episode and just
Oh
give
yeah,
it
for real. Yeah.
out
Yeah,
because
I will reverse that
Reverse.
on Lyra because I think
Reverse.
she's here now. I think she's gotten over the hump and she's settling in. I'm not afraid to say that. I will say it here and now.
yep, me too. I'm right there with you. Brian, you got anything else for him?
No, I think that's about it. Wait, did we hit Dave Meltzer pretty good?
I man, hopefully good enough.
Okay.
Hopefully good enough.
Okay, good. Okay, I couldn't remember if I mentioned him or not, but I think I got it in.
No, that clown deserves it. Him and The Rock can go have tea time together. I mean, I'm serious. They
That dude, okay, so that's the other thing is that Dave Meltzer, yep, see, I said his name and he will appear. We don't like you, Dave Meltzer. Um, so Meltzer is buddy buddy with The Rock. Like he wants to be The Rock's friend. Only I don't think he realizes that it's probably a one-sided thing because The Rock figured out a long time ago, hey, if I'm nice to the guy who writes the dirt sheets, maybe he'll write nice stuff about me. What a great idea. Uh, but I wonder if Meltzer would say the same thing about The Rock in Hollywood, that his acting skills, nobody really cares about it. Because I've been to a lot of Rock movies. I've never gone to a movie with The Rock because he's a great actor. I've never went, oh man, I can't wait to see him chew up the scenery in this movie. It's going to be so dramatic, or it's going to be so something. He's no Robert Downey Jr. He's not a great thespian. So I don't know. That just bugs me. You're like, you haven't even seen Liv Morgan act in the movie yet. Like maybe she's really
yeah.
good. Let's reserve our judgment. Am I biased? Yes, I am. And I'm not afraid to say that, but that's because I feel like I was defending her when a lot of people were giving her a lot of garbage. So yeah,
Man, I love The Rock when
I'm
he's the
done.
big dude in Moana. I love it when he's singing in Moana. That's my jam. My jam. So I'll give him that, but
Oh yeah,
any
it's good.
any of the 17 Fast and Furious movies he's in, I'm good on.
Go watch The Scorpion King. Wait, don't watch The Scorpion King.
I
The, Scor-
won't.
the Scorpion King is a lot of fun because Kelly Hu is in it. But watch The Mummy Returns with him as the Scorpion King, and you can see that being a great thespian was never part of the deal for The Rock. So,
Do you
yeah.
want to know
Or the
who I?
Tooth Fairy.
Oh, the Tooth Fairy. Growing up, I loved the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
You want to know what? Who I'm shocked they let into Hollywood? John Cena. Because do you want to know what John Cena's first movie was?
The Marine.
I don't know if it was The Marine or what came first. It was, I think it was Fred. Fred 1, 2, and 3. I've ever seen
Red?
in my life. Yeah, they were like Nickelodeon classics.
Oh no.
Oh man, if you have
Oh no.
time to waste and you don't want it back because after you
Man,
watch it, you'll be like, I want this time back. If you have that much time to kill, which you don't, watch Fred, everyone. Watch them. They are the worst movies of all time.
I will say this about John Cena, and my wife and I have been wanting this so badly because he is the spitting image of Jim Varney, who played Ernest P. Worrell in the Ernest Scared Stupid and Ernest Saves Christmas and all the Ernest movies. He was also the voice of Slinky Dog in the first couple of Toy Stories before he passed. And they need to do a biopic about Jim Varney's
He
life,
looks just like Mrs.
and John Cena needs to play him and win an Oscar so he can have something The Rock never will. That would be so gratifying. Like somebody in Hollywood, do it. Make that biopic movie and cast John Cena and let
My
him go just
God.
tear it up. Yes.
He looks just like this dude.
Yeah.
I looked it up because I had no clue what you were talking about. He
Yeah.
looks just like him. Man, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. We just got our blooper for the end right now. Well, guys, I want to give a quick shout out to the Realm Paranormal Podcast. If you have not checked them out, link is in the description. Same with our TikTok. Go
Hmm.
check that out. Me and Brian, we are due to film some more list videos because
Yeah.
those are our favorite to film for the TikTok, and we love doing that for you guys.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have a watch along coming.
Right.
This
Retro rewatch.
retro rewatch, unless something earth breaking happens in the wrestling world, we will have the is it Rumble 91?
Rumble 91 has been
Rumble 91.
requested.
So we will be tackling that this weekend. And until next time, guys, I'm Will. That's my guy Brian, and we will see you guys next time. Peace
See you
and
next
love.
time, guys. Peace out.
What's the sweatshirt about? I haven't seen this one yet. Liv's finally on top. Wow, I love it.
Liv's finally on top.
I love it.
A little something for Dave Meltzer.
Are you touching on that?
Mm-hmm. We know that she's doing a movie-o, because she's doing a movie-o shot in Tokyo. That's where the movie-o part came from.
Um, Dang it, there's an Oh, oh no. Oh, sorry, Stevie D wanted me to do that one time. One time. Cut that. We can cut that.
Oh God, I love it. Hey man, my Jeff Cobb on one good hip after a replacement had to settle everybody's hash at Skate Town a long time ago on a Saturday night when things were getting rough and had to let everybody know you better calm down because I'll with one hip. So
Yeah, that's right. He was gonna call
my Jeff Cobb is no stranger to laying it down.
throwing down. Jeff Cobbs might just throw down. That
Yeah.
might be their thing.
It could be.
So who you want to play rock paper scissors? Who's got the outro today?
All right, let's go. All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, double.
All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh,
Oh,
I got the outro today, guys.
take it.